Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime. It's time for some Brawl news. We've got balance changes, a community-breaking $2 offer in the shop, and of course, some speculation on future content. Although, well, it's news. This is not speculation, this is news. Meg is getting a buff and a nerf. The buff is to her heavy metal star power, which deals damage to nearby opponents whenever her mecha suit explodes, okay? The damage is being buffed from 1,000 damage to 1,500 damage, which is actually a pretty significant buff. Honestly, I'm not sure if this is enough damage to justify using it over her force field star power, which shields her when her mecha is destroyed, because Meg is super squishy, and honestly, that explosion of her mecha doesn't really, it's not large enough to really push people far away from her, but it is definitely stronger than before. She's also getting a nerf to her supercharge. It used to charge with 6 hits or 3 ammo, and it is now going to charge with 8 hits or 4 ammo. This will make it much more difficult for her to charge her super, which honestly I think is the right call. Her mecha is obviously what makes Meg really strong, and without her mecha, that gives the enemy team a little bit more of an opportunity to kind of like push her back and gain control, and this is going to give them a little bit more time to do that between supers. Overall, I still think Meg is going to be a strong brawler to use competitively. She's not going to be as strong, but if you can keep her mecha alive, this nerf to Meg isn't really going to change things for her very much. She was in the S tier before, she's probably going to be high A tier or maybe low S tier now. Up next, we got 3 nerfs to Grom. But first, I'm really excited about this video sponsor because it's something I've been actively using for years. Amazon Prime and Prime Gaming, which is a lot more than just free shipping, by the way. Prime Gaming is included free with an Amazon Prime membership, and along with it, free loot in over 40 different games. That includes extra content and Free Fire drops every month for free. I recently started a YouTube channel all dedicated to Free Fire content, and I'll be releasing videos on it pretty soon. And if you haven't tried it yet, now is a great time to download Free Fire, especially because you can get free monthly drops in Free Fire thanks to Prime Gaming. This month's free drop is the Sakura Otaro skin, which you can unlock by following the directions right here. And this drop lasts until February 2nd, so click on my link below right now. Prime Gaming also gives you free PC games to keep every month, like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. An amazing game, by the way. I honestly can't believe you can get it for free. Click the link in the description below to sign up for Prime Gaming and start claiming your exclusive content now. Not to mention free shipping on Amazon, free streaming on Prime Video, and a free monthly sub to your favorite Twitch streamer, not to mention a whole lot more. And once again, thank you to Prime Gaming for sponsoring this video. Like I said, Grom is getting 3 nerfs. Probably the biggest change is a 10% nerf to his attack damage. For max level, it's going from 1,500 damage to 1,350 damage, and that's without his X Factor star power, and that is a significant nerf. That means he's going to require 1 additional ammo to take out 24 of the 54 brawlers in the game. Not quite half, but really close to it. The most significant interactions are going to be that he's no longer able to 3-shot brawlers that are at either 4,200 health or 4,500 health at max level. Those brawlers are Colonel Ruffs, Colt, Dynamite, Edgar, other Groms, Jesse, Mr. P, Rico, Sprout, Stu, or Surge. On top of that, Grom's supercharge rate is also getting a nerf. Now, the patch notes say that his supercharge is going from 5 hits to 6 hits, but it's actually going up to 7 hits without his X Factor star power. This might get changed to match what the patch notes actually say in the future, just keep that in mind. With all that said, you can still charge super in 5 hits from perfectly aimed attacks while using his X Factor star power. Either way though, it's going to be much harder for Grom to charge up his super, which I think he desperately needed. His Watchtower gadget is also getting a nerf. The tower's HP is decreasing from 2,000 HP to 1,500 HP, but probably more important is that its health decay is being sped up. So instead of lasting for 40 seconds without taking any damage, it's now only going to last for 20 seconds when it's not taking damage. Now, Grom got hit with 3 significant nerfs, and it is really easy to see why, guys. He was the strongest brawler in the game by a long shot. Like, he's like, nobody could argue that another brawler was stronger than him. He's just so good. And I definitely think these changes are going to tone him down. The real question is, though, is he still going to be a competitive option? I don't think he's going to be the go-to option that he once was. A 10% nerf to his attack damage is big. There's also a chance that he'll still be used a lot, but I don't think he's going to be useless, okay? I think he went from the top of the S tier, and I think he's going down to probably A tier, maybe even B tier. Maybe lower, but I don't think he's going to go down that low. He's still pretty good. Rico's getting a 20% nerf to his bouncy castle gadget. The healing that he gets from each bounce is being decreased from 250 healing per bounce down to 200 healing per bounce. This feels a lot more balanced in my opinion, okay? In order to fully heal, Rico will have to get just over 4 bounces with each bullet, which just isn't as easy to do in most situations as he used to require to get fully healed up. It still provides a fair amount of healing though, and when Rico can position himself for a solid heal, I think it's still going to be very strong. I don't think this is enough to make players use his multi-ball launcher gadget, but the decision is going to be a lot closer than it used to be with this change. Mortis is getting a nerf to 1 star power and a buff to the other. The healing from his creepy harvest star power is being reduced from 1,400 healing down to 1,000 healing whenever he gets a kill. This is a big change and will make Mortis require a bit more skill and of course, much more patience than before. In my opinion, this star power was overpowered by a lot and this change makes a lot of sense. Additionally, his coiled snake star power is reducing the charging time from his dash from 1.5 seconds to an entire 2 seconds, so it will charge half a second faster. It still takes about 3 seconds to charge after reaching full ammo, but that's a pretty big change. So the question is, which star power is stronger? Now I'm not going to pretend to be a Mortis master, and only time is really going to tell which is actually better, but being able to do a long dash more often and faster looks a lot more desirable now that getting kills with creepy harvest only heals 1000 HP. But I think it's a close call between the two, and I could honestly see them both being used fairly equally. Next is Stu, who is getting his 7th nerf since he was released 10 months ago. His attack damage is going from 870 down to 810 at max level, which is a 7% nerf. That's not as big as Grom's 10% nerf, but 7% is still on the strong side when it comes to attack damage nerfs. He's no longer going to be able to 2-shot Tick or Meg. He's no longer going to be able to 3-shot Penny, Griff, or Colette, and he's now going to require 5 ammo to take out Karl and Fang. Now, even though Stu has felt a bit more balanced recently, he's always been a powerhouse at the competitive level, and I think this is going to make him feel a lot easier to deal with for a lot of brawlers. Next, we have Ashe, who is getting a 13% buff to his HP. At max level, he's going from 7,200 HP all the way up to 8,100 HP. That is a 900 HP buff, which is insanely good. For reference, he's going from the HP of 8-Bit up to the HP of Rosa, which makes him way stronger, okay? He's now going to be able to survive 1 additional ammo from 20 of the 54 brawlers, and almost every single brawler in the game will require at least 1 additional projectile to take Ashe out. This, honestly, I could see this doing amazing things for Ashe, and he was in the C tier for my last tier list, and I could see this moving him up to possibly even the A tier. That's a lot of additional HP and gives him a lot more survivability to actually be able to utilize his rage mechanic. Karl is getting a 14% buff to his attack range. It's going from an effective range of 8 tiles up to 9 tiles, which is a very big buff to his attack range. This isn't the first time that Supercell has messed with Karl's range, okay? They've done it a lot before to try and balance him, and it seems like either he's one of the best or he's one of the worst brawlers in the game, depending on what they do. And in this case, I mean, if the past has told me anything, this might be what Karl needs to be one of the best brawlers in the game, as this is one of the longest ranges that he's ever had. Granted, the meta is very different from when he was really strong in the past, so only time's really going to tell. We also have a nerf to the speed gear. The speed buff that it gives to brawlers in bushes is being decreased from 5% at every single level. So a level 1 speed gear is going from a 15% speed buff in bushes down to a 10% speed buff in bushes. And the gameplay that you're seeing right here is a level 3 speed gear before and after. So that's a 25% buff down to now a 20% speed buff. And as you can see, it's still not as strong as it used to be before, but it is still a very solid speed buff. Those were all the balance changes that we have at the moment, and I imagine we won't be seeing other balance changes until the next update, unless like Fang needs some sort of emergency nerf or reason, which could happen. So that brings up the question, when do I think the next update's going to be? Well, when Fang was released, we actually got this image, and if you look at this calendar, which matches perfectly with February this year, there are a few important dates on here. The 12th and 13th are underlined, which I believe is going to be when the 9-win Year of the Tiger challenge is going to happen. That's when you can get an exclusive pin if you win. Then we have the 16th, 17th, and 21st, and honestly, I don't know what those are going to be for. But then we have the 26th, which is circled, and I believe that is going to be Brawl Talk. Now, the current season that we have going on for the Brawl Pass right now ends on March 6th. And in order for the next Brawl Pass to be ready before then, we would need an update the previous week, which means that Brawl Talk would have to be the weekend before that. And that just so happens to be February 26th. We'll talk more about what I think we'll be getting in that update, but there's some really pressing news that I need to cover first. I am sure that this is not news to many people that are watching this. Most people probably already heard about the shop offer that showed up a few days ago. It was only up for about 30 minutes, but it was for 140 mega boxes for $2. That's right. 140 mega boxes for $2. If you wanted to buy 140 mega boxes normally, the best way to do it would be to buy 12,000 gems for $600. So this offer was a little bit more than just 3 times value. It was actually 300 times the value. It took Supercell about 30 minutes to catch it and remove the offer from the shop. And in that time, according to Frank, 0.2% of the active player base were able to buy this offer and get months of progression for $2. This was obviously a big mistake on Supercell's part. And honestly, it just shouldn't have ever happened, okay? But it did happen. And even if it was a mistake, that's gonna grind some people's gears. People demanded that either Supercell roll back the boxes for those that actually got it to keep things fair, or that Supercell give everybody the opportunity to buy that special, which would just break the game's economy, right? And I don't know. Supercell says that. I don't know exactly what that means, or you know, it wouldn't be fair to Supercell, okay? It just would not be fair to Supercell. Players started to review bomb Brawl Stars in some of the like app stores, and in some countries like Russia, it even got as low as 1.9 stars, maybe even lower than that. But that's what I saw on Reddit right here, which is just insane. Meanwhile, videos of people mass opening mega boxes like this spread around, which honestly, I mean, you got a family and they're opening up all their mega boxes together as little girls excited about unlocking Frank. That's pretty cute, right? But 140 mega boxes is a lot of progression. And honestly, I can see why so many people were upset about this. I really do. I was asleep when all of this happened. And even though all of my brawlers are maxed out, I still have tons of scrap and gear tokens that I need to get. So I would have appreciated being able to get it. But once again, the truth is there's not really something that Supercell could do to fix the situation, okay? If Supercell reverted progression for those that opened up the box and refunded them the $2, that would have been a huge mess, because it's not like Supercell could just like remove their brawlers. It's like, oh, you got Leon? Oh, you got Meg? You got these cool legendary brawlers? Well, we're just gonna take that from you. Like, that would just be unfair to anybody that bought the deal, okay? And offering the same deal to everyone would just be unfair to Supercell. And like I said, it would do crazy things to the game economy, and that's more complex than I can even pretend to understand. But that would screw over Supercell in a very big way. I mean, they would have huge cuts in revenue, and that would not be good, because if they take a big hit, then they can't afford to continue producing games for us, and so then we don't get Brawl Stars, right? We don't get updates in Brawl Stars. That's an issue. Frank shared all of his thoughts on this, and he was very good in a tweet thread that he shared. So if you haven't seen that, then make sure you guys go check that out. No matter how I look at it though, there's just nothing that Supercell could do that would actually be fair. It just sucks that it happened, and 99.8% of the players wish that it didn't happen. But honestly, I think the review bombing Brawl Stars is just not the right way to go about it. I hope that nobody watching this video is on that side of things, because I mean, if you were watching my channel, chances are you like Brawl Stars, and Brawl Stars has brought a lot of joy to your life, right? And it's made your life better in some way, and review bombing it because somebody else got something that you didn't, I don't know. It just puts the wrong taste in my mouth. Anyway, I can see why people are doing it. It's just not I just think that people took things a little bit too far. Supercell made a mistake. I mean, there are people behind Supercell, and people make mistakes. Unfortunately, this was a very big mistake, but the developers are still human, and I don't see why we should roast them and not forgive them of their mistakes when they've owned up to it. And like, yeah, I think you guys see where I'm coming from. That's my opinion. Feel free to share different opinions if you have them down below. Now let's talk about what I think will be coming to the next big Brawl Stars update. The biggest and most obvious change would be some sort of a rework to gears, okay? I covered this topic extensively in my past couple 100% honest update reviews, so I'm not going to talk about it more right now, but it's obvious that Supercell missed the gear with marks. Missed the gear with marks. You know it, I know it, and Supercell knows it. And to fix gears and to do a completely different situation or figure out exactly what the right solution is for it, that takes time. Hopefully from November to March is enough time for that big of a change, because the current system just isn't right. But the next big thing that I hope that we're getting in the next update is some sort of a rework to Club League, or maybe not a rework, but some tweaks that would be much appreciated. Now, I will be the first to say that I actually really love the current iteration of Club League. I am actively playing with members in my club more. I am more invested in the game, and like seriously, like I'm probably playing Brawl Stars more now than I have for the whole last next year, right? Like, it's really fun. I like it. And the rewards, let's not forget about the rewards. They're awesome. At least in the Legendary League where my club is, like, they're insane. They're really good. But I did take the time to ask my community what their thoughts were on Club League, and it's pretty clear that there are some common issues that I think need to be resolved. First of all, clubs that don't have a full 30 players are at a huge disadvantage. And it would be really great if there were some freedom for smaller clubs of like 5 or 10 friends who could somehow just compete without the need to let randoms join their club. Like, I understand if you're a group of 6 friends and you're really tight knit and you don't want to let other people into your club because you guys are really good friends, you want that chat to be just for you guys. I understand that. You want to still be able to compete with your friends, right? The second big issue that people are having is that it is creating a toxic environment for clubs with players that have different mindsets. Either mostly everyone in a club wants to be super competitive and they get upset with the members who aren't taking it seriously or aren't very good at the game in comparison, or mostly everybody in the club is pretty chill and they get upset with members who are taking things too seriously and are frustrated with loss, right? There are other major issues that I'll be addressing later on in this video, but I wanted to offer a simple solution that I feel like could fix this issue, and I'm just straight up taking it from Clash of Clans, okay? That suggestion is, first of all, clans should be able to choose how many players participate in Club League each week. This would allow clubs with only like 6 active members to compete against other clubs that also only have 6 active members in there, and clubs with 30 players could compete against each other as well. This would also allow players who are busy one week to like opt out of Club League for a week, so it doesn't hurt everybody else in the club, but they still get to stay in the club and remain competitive. It would also be awesome if clubs could like label what type of a club they are, so that when you join, you know if they're going to be very competitive or if they're gonna be pretty chill. Labeling a club as competitive would allow competitive players to find those competitive clubs and be able to search for them, and labeling a club as non-competitive would allow players that don't care so much about winning and just want to chill and hang out. That would allow those players to be able to find other clubs that are filled with people of the same mindset that aren't going to be upset if you lose in Club League or anything like that. I think these two solutions honestly could fix a lot of the issues that people are experiencing with Club League, and it would make Club League feel a lot more enjoyable for players. The third major issue with Club League is that it feels forced for a lot of players. Even with those solutions I already mentioned, there would still be people who feel the need to participate in Club League every week, all 3 days, with only playing with club members and only playing power matches, even if they don't want to play that way. And the reason why is simple, okay? It's because the progression. Those club coins you can buy gear tokens, you can buy scrap, you can buy power points, you can buy gold, you can buy all these resources that are so important for you to progress your account. And you know what? Maybe you don't like playing it one way and the game is forcing you to play it. You know, like maybe that's going to be good. That's going to add some value to some players who like normally don't like Power League, but then they learn, oh, you know what? Actually, I do kind of like this. This is kind of fun. Or, hey, I didn't want to make friends with anybody in my club, but you know, I'm kind of building these relationships now, even though the game is forcing me to do so. But there are other players who view this as a chore because they already know they don't want to play with other players. They already know they don't want to have to figure out how to schedule with other people to play with. And they already know that they don't like playing power matches. They would rather pick a map and pick a brawler for that map that they know is good and just join in there with randoms. My suggestion is for Supercell to somehow buff other methods of account progression, like by increasing the amount of rewards that you get from the Brawl Pass, and then take those extra progression that you would normally get from there and take it away from the club shop, okay? So that way there is more emphasis on playing the game how you want to and less emphasis on being forced to play in Club League when you don't want to play it, or you don't want to play it the specific way that Supercell has it set up. Honestly, I don't love this solution, okay? But taking more emphasis away from Club League and putting it towards regular progression, I think that would be a better solution for players who are finding Club League to feel like a little bit like a chore, right? Also, I know that there are a lot of people who dislike the fact that Supercell removed golden tickets from Club League. I understand why people say that, but I'm honestly one that is really glad that they removed golden tickets. I'll admit that I did enjoy the strategy of golden tickets and how it added to Club League. It was like an organized club could beat less organized clubs, even if they weren't as skilled as those other clubs, right? I thought that was kind of fun, but I did not like it turning into everybody having to be online during the last 20 minutes of Club League to decide whether or not they should use their golden tickets. People have lives. They don't want to have to log in at the perfect time 3 days a week just to see if they should spend their golden tickets, right? I'm not really sure how Supercell could add more strategy to Club League, and I hope that they're considering something else though. But even if they don't, I actually really like Club League as it is right more, and I like that skill is more important than timing your matches. changes. I genuinely think that Club League right now, as it is though, is making Brawl Stars better than it is taking away from some people. People are making friends in clubs more than they ever were before, and people are coming back to the game more frequently. It's really great for retaining players, and I think that's really awesome, and honestly, I am enjoying Club League. I just think there's a really good chance that Supercell will do some sort of improvements with Club League in the next update, so I don't know. That's not so much news, but it is speculation, and I would be surprised if they didn't do something. I'm sure we'll also be getting some new brawlers in this next update, but I'll leave that speculation for another video, so make sure you subscribe for that, because I have a pretty good track record for actually predicting brawlers, and you can subscribe for Clash Mini content right here, and subscribe for Free Fire content right here, and check this video out. I'd also appreciate you guys using code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop, and for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.